Salutations, my wonderful internet traveler. Where are you tuning in from today? A quiet countryside nook or a skyscraper jungle? Tell me in the comments. And yes, sharing is caring, so pass this video along to your favorite people. Let's dive in. Soft rays of morning light slip in through the slats of my apartment blinds, gently pulling me out of sleep. Lying beside me is an absurdly attractive man, still sound asleep. What was his name? Devin? Daniel? Darius? Definitely something that starts with a D. I stretch lazily, arms extended, releasing a long yawn. The movement makes him stir. "Morning, gorgeous," he mumbles, his eyes fluttering open. But seriously, what is this guy's name? While he's showering, I casually thumb through his wallet, curious. Derek. That's it. I knew I wasn't far off. I plug his name and number into my phone, saved under the category worth a repeat. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I'm Jenna Jameson, 29, undeniably stunning, and absolutely thriving as an account manager at a tech firm here in LA. And I'm not exaggerating. I look good and I know it. Among the steady rotation of attractive men in my life, only one doesn't qualify as young and sexy. Our company's COO, Martin Stone. Twice a month I meet with him in private, strictly to keep my career progressing in the right direction. So far it's paid off beautifully. Every step I've taken up the corporate ladder has been calculated and executed in heels. Take my former supervisor, DJ Jennings, Daniel actually. He gave me 2 major promotions and made me team lead. But when he started holding me back, Martin stepped in. DJ was removed and I got bumped up to account manager. The unspoken agreement? I swapped DJ for Martin in my list of key allies. Martin isn't remotely my type. He's 46, married, and has 3 teenagers at home, but that's irrelevant. He represents security, leverage. As long as he's satisfied, my salary and title keep rising. Naturally, not everyone's thrilled about my success. Longtime co-workers with more credentials often grumble when I'm the one chosen to lead. But what can I say? They're not me. Now they answer to me. Right after finishing my final meeting and handing off tasks to my team for the evening, my phone buzzed. Amber's name popped up. "Hey babe, you free tonight?" she asked. I considered calling up someone from my contact list. "Nothing firm yet. What's up?" I said. "There's a swanky event tonight, tons of people and plenty of rich guys to meet. Feel like dressing up and seeing who we can hook?" She laughed. "I'm in," I answered without hesitation. "Are we doing chill or full-on glam?" "Glam, obviously," she replied. "You have to wear that red sparkly number. I'm breaking out the emerald green one. By the end of the night, we'll have half the room asking for our numbers," she said, giggling. "Perfect. Send me the address and I'll be ready, gorgeous." Amber Jones is my day one ride or die. She's 28 and has been with me from the very beginning. We met during our first gig in LA, same office, same fire in our bellies. When that company shut down, we stuck together and started fresh. That was the start of both our friendship and our hustle. We're sharp, beautiful, and completely unafraid to go after what we want. The goal's always been clear: climb to the top, whatever it takes. And a big perk of being friends with Amber, when we go out together, the attention we get is amplified, way more than I get flying solo. Nights like tonight are part of our regular rotation. Our calendar stays full, drinks are always free, and admirers never seem to run out. We know how to keep life exciting. As I was curling my hair for the party, my phone lit up with a call from Mom. She worries about me constantly, especially because I'm still single. She thinks I party too often and won't ever settle down. She never lets me forget that the big 30 is looming, constantly pointing out that I'm fast approaching the age where landing a husband and starting a family becomes exponentially more difficult. According to her, all the decent men have already been scooped up. Part of me gets it. Maybe it is time to start seriously considering someone dependable, someone I could actually build something real with before the window of opportunity slams shut. But if I'm being honest, I've been enjoying the freedom far too much to give it up just yet. Marriage and kids have always been distant ideas, something I'd get around to after checking off the fun box, after I'd hit all the major career goals. Lately, though, I've started to question if eventually is creeping up faster than expected. Work is going great, and if things unfold the way I hope, another promotion might be right around the corner. Martin promised it, Assuming I keep delivering, of course. The last decade has been a blur of late nights, velvet ropes, wild parties, and more beautiful strangers than I could ever count. Amber and I have made the most of every moment. My mom would probably say we've gone too far, though she only knows a fraction of the truth. Next scene. The second we walked into the party, it was clear we were somewhere extraordinary. A massive ballroom tucked inside a mansion nestled in the Hollywood Hills. Amber wasn't exaggerating. The place was crawling with wealthy, attractive men. Quite a few of them were already attached. Not that it stopped them from eyeing us like we were something sweet and decadent. I've encountered this type before. Give them even a sliver of attention, and they'd betray their partners without blinking. I've lost count of how many nights I've spent wrapped up in someone else's secret, only for them to wake up and go back to a life filled with lies. As we made our way through the room, glasses of champagne in hand, picking at fancy hors d'oeuvres, I already had a few interesting candidates in mind for the after-party. That is, until he appeared. Martin Stone, my boss. What on earth was he doing here? This could be a serious issue. I knew he'd make his way over, try to chit-chat, maybe even treat me like some kind of personal accessory. Please let his wife be here, I begged internally, silently scanning the crowd. I headed straight back to Amber, who was deep in a flirtatious conversation with a gorgeous guy about our age. I gently pulled her aside. Amber, I hissed under my breath, what kind of party is this? I just spotted my boss, the one I, slept with. Her eyebrows lifted just a little. You're joking. Is his wife here too? If she is, you're probably fine. If not, yikes. It's some fundraiser, she explained, unfazed, sipping her drink. For an indie film, I think. I figured it'd be a gold mine for meeting the right kind of guys. I glanced back toward Martin's group, and relief swept over me. His wife had joined him. Thank God. I thought I might have to make a dramatic exit with him tonight, which would have been a total waste, considering how many solid prospects are here, I said, letting out a breathy, nervous laugh. Chill, she said, smirking. We'll find you someone better. But wait, is that him over there? The one with the receding hairline and the blue tie? That's him, I confirmed. And I've got to admit, his wife looks a lot better in real life than she does in those framed photos on his desk. Okay, but who's that? Amber asked, nodding subtly toward the guy standing beside Martin. That man is literal perfection. I followed her gaze and wow, she wasn't kidding. He looked to be early 30s, tall, effortlessly fit even in a suit. There was something distinctly Henry Cavill about him. The sharp jaw, the hair, the commanding presence. I think I just found my main event, I said, grinning. No clue who he is yet, but I fully intend to find out. Might even stick around for breakfast. Excuse me, I saw him first, Amber joked, pretending to be offended. Fair, but I've got the ideal opening, I said, eyes twinkling. Can you help me out? Maybe run a little interference? Don't tell me, she groaned. You want me to distract your boss? Flirt with him? Make his wife side-eye us? Nothing too wild, I promised. Just keep him occupied long enough for me to get introduced and make my move. All right, but you definitely owe me, she said, grinning as we made our way toward Martin and his group. Well, this is a surprise, Martin said with a raised brow as I stepped up. Didn't take you for the film type, Jenna. We got invited through some friends, I replied smoothly. Honestly, I didn't expect to see you here, especially with your stunning wife. I answer just as he extends a handshake, confident but polite. Absolutely, I reply with a smile. This is my wife, Mary, and Mary, this is Jenna, Martin says cheerfully, introducing us with warmth. Jenna's in charge of our accounts. I return the gesture and introduce Amber to both Martin and his wife. As the pleasantries wrap up, my attention shifts to the man standing next to Martin, waiting for an introduction. Catching my glance, Martin continues, Jenna, meet James Blake. We collaborate with him now and then, but if today's pitch is a success, we'll be partnering more often. James, this is Jenna Jameson, one of the sharpest people on my team. James extends a broad hand and I shake it. There's a surprising charge in the brief contact. a subtle current I wasn't expecting. Blake? That's a name to remember. Blake, really? I say with a playful smirk. You don't seem like a Blake, more of a Superman vibe. Are capes your thing? He chuckles. Not particularly, but I always liked the idea of wearing my underwear over my pants. We both laugh. I realize I'm still holding his hand, a moment too long, and finally let go, though I'm in no rush to. Meanwhile, Amber has engaged Martin and Mary in conversation. Her job's done. Now it's my turn to play my part. So Martin mentioned there's potential for our companies to team up. What's your line of work? I ask James. I started off in data engineering, he explains. Now I'm the CEO of Data Source, a company I launched. We're a lean outfit based in LA, and we focus on data warehousing. We usually work with larger firms like yours on bigger projects. We handle the niche technical parts, while your team manages the broader scope. He adds, Martin and I have worked together before, though never in entertainment. Damn. So they've got history. Hopefully just business. That sounds like a good fit, I reply. I definitely like the chance to collaborate more closely. Same here, he says. Are you new with the firm? Last time I was in the loop, DJ was the point person on your side. He was, I nod. I took over after he moved on. Great. He knows DJ too. Here's hoping they kept it strictly professional. But if James has heard of me, maybe tonight's seduction will be easier than I anticipated. Well then, congratulations on the promotion, he says, giving me a nod. You must be doing something right. I pivot the conversation. Enough business. I want to know more about you. Are you married? Any kids? Little Batmans running around saving the world? He laughs. No kids. Gotham's got one lone vigilante at the moment. Me. No Vicky Vale waiting at home? I tease. No Vicky Vale, no Jenna Jameson either, he replies, holding my gaze. What about you? Single? I am, I say with a playful tone. Still waiting for the right superhero to fly in? Looks like Blake just made his debut. James grins, the expression lingering with a touch of heat. We keep chatting easily, time slipping by, until Martin eventually steps in and pulls James away. Amber and I make a graceful exit, ducking into the bathroom under the pretense of touching up. Once we're inside the elegant restroom, Amber spins toward me eagerly. So, what's the read? Sparks flying? Should I start planning breakfast? I let out a low laugh and lean back against the marble counter. What's he like? He's really sweet, but I don't think he's in that headspace yet. Amber groans. One of those. Looking for a ring, not a fling. She grins, clearly entertained by the whole thing. Maybe you've got a point, I admit at last. It's been forever since I've just relaxed around a guy. Do you think he might actually want something serious? It's possible, Amber says thoughtfully. But there's only one way to figure that out. Next time you talk to him, let him set the tone. Don't give off any signals that you're just looking for something casual. If he's really in it for something more, he'll suggest meeting up later, not trying to make something happen tonight. Yeah, you're probably right. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. Maybe this is exactly the kind of distraction I need. Wait, Jenna, are you actually thinking about getting involved with this guy? Amber asks, her voice suddenly sharp. Did you forget why we came here? This isn't some quest for soulmates. A sugar daddy? Sure. But a husband? Come on. Calm down, I reply, half laughing. I'm just talking through the idea. Besides, maybe if I show them I'm trying, my parents will back off about the grandkids for a while. Amber snorts. Yeah, sure. You? Playing the role of perfect little wife, sweet and domestic? I laugh along with her. She's not wrong. Truthfully, thinking James and I could ever build something real is nothing short of a fantasy. He already knows about a couple of the execs I got close to on my way up the ladder. That alone would probably ruin any chance at real respect from him. After we left the bathroom, we blended back into the crowd at the party. I made a point not to hover around James. I didn't want to come off too attached. Instead, I watched him, curious to see how he'd react if I gave other men some attention. Would he care at all? Turns out, he definitely noticed. I caught him sneaking glances at me more than once. He was watching, silent but alert, especially when I was chatting with other guys. A couple of times he even interrupted the conversation, just enough to make a statement. Every now and then, I gave him a quick glance back, just enough to say, "I see you. You're the one I'm watching too." Eventually, I made my way back to the group from work. Amber didn't tag along this time. She'd already locked in on someone new. I slipped in near the group, deliberately finding a spot across from James, keeping some distance from my boss. I wasn't in the mood for his predictable chatter. A new couple, unfamiliar to me, joined the circle. They looked older, probably in their 60s, and the woman immediately approached James with a warm smile. "It's been such a long time, James," she said kindly. "And I'm so sorry about Brittany. She was such a beautiful, intelligent woman. No one should have to go through that, losing both a wife and a child so young. Your mother mentioned you've thrown yourself into your work lately. I hope it's going well?" "Thank you," James replied softly. "It's hard to believe it's been 4 years already. But yes, business is doing well. I appreciate you asking, Mrs. Thompson." "Oh, James, call me Darlene," she said with a gentle laugh. "You only used Mrs. Thompson when you were still in your little school uniforms." Her gaze drifted toward me then. "And who is this lovely young lady you're with? Should we be bracing ourselves for some big news?" James offered a polite smile. "That's Jenna Jameson. She works with Martin. We may end up working together again soon." "Ah, so it's professional," Darlene said, sounding ever so slightly disappointed. "Well, I was hoping it was something more. You deserve joy in your life, James. I know it's hard, but at some point, you have to let yourself look ahead." "I know," he said quietly. "I'll get there, eventually." With that, Darlene and her husband Tom turned their attention to Martin and his wife, clearly already acquainted. Darlene and Tom had been close to my parents for years, fixtures in the LA high society circle. No doubt my mother's already poured out her frustrations to Darlene about my so-called romantic failures. James leaned closer to me and said under his breath, "Sorry for dragging you into that." I gave him a quick smile and waved it off. "Don't worry about it, James. Can we find someplace quiet to talk for a bit? Somewhere we won't bump into people who already know us?" "Of course," James replies, and I thread my fingers lightly through his as we head toward a secluded table near the bar, away from the noise and mingling crowd. "Would you mind if I asked about your wife? Everything that happened?" My voice is low as we take our seats across from one another. "I don't mind," he answers. "It's something people always bring up eventually. They ask how I'm doing, say they're sorry, give their condolences. But you don't need to ask unless you really want to." He lets out a long breath. "My wife was Dr. Brittany Blake, a pediatrician based in Los Angeles. We'd been married 3 years when we decided to have a child. She was 6 months pregnant when a teenager, high and running from the police, blew through a red light and slammed into her car. I lost both of them that day. It's been 4 years. That's the story." I lay my hand gently over his, feeling the heaviness he still carries. "Darlene and your mom seem to think you've buried yourself in work. Have you been in a relationship at all since then?" "No," he replies without hesitation. "I haven't felt like it. At first it was just too painful to imagine moving on. Now, I guess I can't stomach the idea of starting over from scratch. I've never tried dating apps, and I hate the vibe in bars or clubs. It all seems so surface level, like a cattle market. Honestly, I only showed up tonight because it was a work thing." "Wait, are you saying you haven't been with anyone in 4 years? Not even once?" "Not a single time," he says plainly. "I don't see the appeal in casual hookups. They feel empty to me, self-serving and meaningless. I'd rather just avoid the whole scene." His words hit harder than I expected, like a blow I never saw coming. He's not chasing anything romantic, and maybe, indirectly, not chasing someone like me. If I had any sense, I'd politely excuse myself and find someone else, someone who actually wants what I want. But I can't bring myself to walk away. Something about James makes me stay put. I want to figure him out, understand what drives him, pull him closer somehow. Men usually aren't this much of a puzzle to me. I've always known how to win someone over, how to make them want me. But James is different. A riddle I haven't cracked. And what about you, Jenna? He asks after a moment. You mentioned you're single, so never married? Or just not right now? Or maybe your job's taken up all your time too. I've never been married, I say. And yeah, work's pretty much front and center in my life right now. It matters a lot to me. My mom's constantly nudging me to settle down, I add with a laugh. I think she just really wants grandkids. James smiles. Mine's the same, after everything that happened. I think she tries not to push too hard, but it's only a matter of time. They mean well, I say. They just want to see us happy. Yeah, and I'm grateful for that, he agrees. We keep talking, the conversation drifting softly. I remember Amber's advice. Let him steer things. Don't press too much. Hold back a bit, even if it's hard. So I wait. Let the moment do the work. But nothing changes. No shift in tone, no spark. A quiet frustration stirs in me. Maybe he really isn't interested. Maybe this was never going anywhere. I can't tell if I'm annoyed or fascinated. Probably both. It was really nice talking with you, Jenna, he says suddenly. But I've got an early start tomorrow, so I should head out. Still, I'd like to talk again sometime. If that's something you'd want. There's a brief, uncomfortable pause before he adds, Yeah, here, let me give you my number. Call me, James. I'd like that, I reply. I give him my number too. Now I'm just standing there, feeling strangely torn. Part of me still wants what I came here for. Someone hot to take home, a night of uncomplicated fun. But now I'm second-guessing everything. Why does it matter whether James sees me with someone else? Why do I care what he thinks? And then there's my boss to keep in mind. There's just too much going on tonight. Better to leave before I complicate things any further. I spot Amber. She's already getting ready to head out with her guy. And we exchange quick goodbyes before slipping out of the party together. During the Uber ride back to my apartment, a reckless impulse takes over. I text a guy I've hooked up with before. He lives nearby and has always lingered in the back of my mind as a possible repeat. He replies almost instantly. Minutes later, he's on his way. Might as well salvage something from this night. When daylight slips through my curtains, I glance at the man sleeping next to me, Jared. But instead of feeling reassured, a deep sense of regret rises in my chest. I don't want him here. I want him gone. The moment he leaves, I step under the shower spray, letting the scalding water burn against my skin, hoping it will wash away a shame I can't seem to scrub off. Last night wasn't like the others. I can't recall ever waking up with this kind of weight in my stomach. What's wrong with me? And then it clicks, James, he's the reason. Hell no, I'm not going to let someone make me feel this small. I've never been the kind to chase after a man, and I won't start now. Time to move on. And I throw myself into that idea with everything I've got. For days, I immerse myself in work, drowning any remaining thoughts of James under a mountain of deadlines and distractions. Still, I catch myself checking my phone now and then, wondering if he'll ever reach out. Just when I think I've started to shake him, life blindsides me. He's suddenly there, stepping out of the conference room with my boss, Martin, like it's nothing. Ah, Jenna, great timing, Martin says, motioning toward James. Could you show James around the office, introduce him to the team? It's clearly not a suggestion. Sure, I reply smoothly, even as my stomach flips. I hadn't expected seeing James again would hit me this hard. My heart skips. The room seems lighter, more alive. What is wrong with me? Jenna, you look incredible, James says as Martin walks off. I was hoping I'd bump into you. Thanks, I say, trying to collect myself. So what's the story? Why the meeting with Martin? And why am I suddenly playing tour guide? Or is that top secret? No secrets, he replies with a small grin. You remember that project from the party? It's officially happening. Our company's signed the deal. I'll be working here closely, sat for the next year, maybe more. Well, that's something, I say, managing a half smile. All right, let's get you introduced. And maybe afterward we grab a coffee? I'd really like that, he says. I've actually been thinking about you since the party. Oh, have you? I lift an eyebrow. Strange. No messages, no calls, just thoughts? Should I have reached out? He laughs, a bit unsure. Honestly, I've been out of the game so long, I wasn't sure what the rules are anymore. It's not rocket science, I tell him with a light smile. If you like someone, you make the effort, that's it. I guess I didn't want to come on too strong, he admits. Let me make it up to you. How about dinner? On me? Deal, I say playfully, as we approach a team member's office. And don't think I'll let you back out. After a flurry of introductions that takes up the next hour, we finally slip out and walk to the cafe just down the street, a pocket of quiet in the middle of a whirlwind. I still don't know what I want from this, from him. But the longer I'm around James, the less I want to let this be just another fling. It's a strange feeling, foreign to me. Thanks for the office tour this morning, James says once we're seated at a small table, warm drinks in hand. I really appreciated it. It was no big deal. Honestly, I'm glad we got to catch up, I say, meaning it. Silence falls for a moment. James looks at me, then stares into his cup, like he's searching for the right words somewhere in the foam. I can feel it, something on the verge of being said. And truthfully, I'm just as mixed up as he looks. My thoughts are a mess, my feelings unfamiliar. Could I really be falling for him? Finally, James lifts his eyes. Jenna, he says softly. You're the first woman I've truly felt a connection with since my wife. He hesitates. It's not simple. I want to get to know you better, James said softly, his voice tentative. But every time I think about pursuing this, it feels like I'm betraying her memory just by feeling this way. A faint, almost embarrassed smile touched his lips. I know it probably sounds odd. It's been 4 years since she passed. Still, the guilt lingers. I think I get it, I replied gently. You must have really loved her. I did, he said, nodding slowly. She was my first real love. We met during our university days and clicked right away. Everything before that, those teenage relationships, were just immature crushes, nothing close to what we had. He paused, drawing a breath, his eyes meeting mine with intensity. I'm not here looking for something casual, Jenna. I'm saying all this because I want something genuine with you, something that matters. Do you feel the same, or am I coming on too strong? His honesty caught me off guard. I was usually confident around men, but this felt different. I hadn't expected him to be so open, so sincere from the start. There was no pretense with him. He was serious, and it made me feel like a high school girl again, wondering if I was ready for a man who seemed so stable, so real. Was I ready for something this honest? Something I'd never truly had? You're not scaring me off, James, I said, steadying my voice. If you're willing to take that step, then so am I. He gave a small nod and took a sip of his coffee. I couldn't read the expression on his face. All I could do was sit there wondering what I was about to step into. I owe you that dinner, he said, after a pause. Would tomorrow night work? I could pick you up around 8. Just text me your address. 8 works. I'll send it to you, I said with a smile. And that smile didn't fade. I felt light, almost like I was floating, giddy in a way I hadn't expected. We lingered at the cafe a while longer, talking until I had to rush off for a meeting back at the office. With each minute that passed in his company, I felt more at ease. It hit me then. I wasn't trying to charm him or make an impression. I was genuinely interested in what he had to say. The conversation meant more to me than his appearance. My mother would have been proud. That evening, while out at the club with Amber, I told her about my upcoming date with James. She immediately looked skeptical, her eyes narrowing with concern. She warned me that men like James didn't end up with women like us, that fairy tale romances were just that, fantasies. And if James ever learned about my past, he'd be gone. We ended up arguing. I insisted that things were different now, that we deserved love, marriage, everything other women hoped for. Our backgrounds shouldn't disqualify us from wanting more. Amber just laughed and called me naive. Maybe I was, but for once I genuinely wanted the whole picture. And that hope began with the man I danced with tonight, Marcus. Charming, athletic, full of energy. But tomorrow? Tomorrow was about James. Next chapter. The following evening, I stepped outside to find James parked at the curb beside a sleek black Audi. He looked like he'd stepped off the page of a fashion magazine. Sharp suit, composed demeanor. Now that's what I'm talking about. He drove us to a secluded, upscale restaurant nestled in Beverly Hills. I was surprised he'd been able to snag a reservation on such short notice. As we entered, the maitre d' greeted him by name and ushered us directly to our table. No delay, no questioning. My curiosity spiked. "He knew who you were," I said as I took my seat. "And this place? Not exactly easy to get into. What's your secret, James?" He offered a modest smile. "Let's just say my family has a few ties in the right places." "Sounds like more than just a few." "Maybe," he replied. "But that doesn't make me special, just lucky." "So what do your parents do? Are they big names or something?" James laughed lightly. "You could say that. My dad was a major Hollywood agent, one of those people who could make things happen with a phone call. He's retired now. My mom? She was a well-known actress once." "Seriously?" I said, eyebrows raised. "And you never thought of following in their footsteps? You've definitely got the look for it." He grinned at the compliment. "Thanks, Jenna. I mean it. You've got that whole movie star vibe. I can totally imagine you in some action flick saving the world, shirtless, obviously." He laughed, a deep, warm sound, and I smiled wider. The night had only just begun, but already I could feel it was the start of something surprising. "Absolutely not. Pursuing a career in acting or the film industry doesn't interest me in the slightest. The people I grew up around always felt disingenuous, entirely absorbed in their own self-importance. For most of them, life revolves around fame, fortune, and the allure that those things tend to attract. They'll say or do whatever it takes to climb higher. Deceit, manipulation, betrayal, it's all fair game. It's not unlike what you see in corporate boardrooms or modern dating scenes. People aren't always given opportunities. More often, they have to wrestle them from the hands of others. You either fight for what you want or watch it slip through your fingers. So I ask, what's left of their integrity once they make it? Do they stop to think about who they hurt along the way, the lives they bulldozed to get there? Is that really success, or just a hollow illusion? Are we talking about love or business here? I ask, with a sly smile. Maybe both, is the reply. When it's all said and done, you've got to be able to look in the mirror, be true to your inner compass, and avoid the temptation to take the easy, ugly path. But hey, this isn't exactly where I hoped our dinner conversation would go. I'm glad we met, Jenna. I feel the same, James. You're not like the usual men I meet. Oh yeah? What sets me apart? Well, most of them resemble the kind of guy you just described. They'll say whatever they think will get them what they want. And I'm guessing what they usually wanted, was you. Yeah, and sometimes they got it. Does that ever bother you? James, we're not teenagers anymore. I know plenty of women carry baggage, just like men do. As long as they haven't lost who they are in the process, I don't see a reason to judge. What about me? Do you think I've held on to my identity? That's not an easy question to answer. Honestly, I've used men just as much as they've used me. No one ever forced me into anything. I was always in control of my choices. Sure, I've gone emotionally numb at times, but that was a conscious decision. One I made with eyes wide open. I don't know how James would react if he knew the full truth. But I still believe I've held on to my self-respect. To new beginnings, I say, raising my wine glass. The dinner was incredible. I'm already hoping he'll bring me back again. A girl could get comfortable with this kind of treatment. So yeah, it stings a bit when, after dropping me off, he gives me nothing more than a kiss on the cheek. Does he have any idea how badly I want him? Still, I try to keep it cool to match his pace. But as soon as James's taillights vanish, I grab my phone and text Dwayne, asking him to come over and satisfy the craving James left behind. Half an hour later, Dwayne is at my door, and he doesn't disappoint. So how long is James planning to keep me waiting? The next day, he calls while I'm at work, asking if I'm free for dinner on Friday night. Of course, I say yes. But Friday and Saturday nights are usually sacred for Amber and me. She's not going to be thrilled about this change of plans. Amber brings it up again, wanting to know if I'm really serious about James. I reassure her we'll still have our nights out, just Thursday and Saturday instead. Friday comes and James takes me to a nice dinner, followed by a comedy show. And honestly, I have a great time. The following night, Amber and I hit a club downtown, where we meet two guys and end up taking them back to my place. By Tuesday, James and I go out for a third date. This kind of pacing isn't what I'm used to. Waiting this long is new territory. He better be worth it. Well, it turns out I don't have to wait anymore. When he drops me off that night, I invite him in for coffee, and we end up in my bed. Even after tonight, I know I'll continue seeing other men, even as I keep dating James. A girl's got needs after all. On Wednesday, Amber and I attend yet another upscale gathering. And just like always, we're both out there on the prowl. After a long, sweaty streak of dancing with a ridiculously attractive guy named Troy, I decide it's time to cool off. I grab a drink and slide over to where Amber's hanging out. He's definitely promising, Amber notes, giving me a knowing look. Those dance moves are something else. I flash a smug smile. Right? And let's just say his kissing game isn't bad either. Her eyebrows shoot up. Wait, you two were making out? On the dance floor? One of the slow songs gave me the perfect opening, I say, laughing. I figured I'd give him a preview of what the night could turn into. I even copped a quick feel. He's got some decent assets. Amber bursts out laughing. And to think there was a time when I thought you were actually into James. Oh, come on. You should have known better, I tease. Besides, James and I finally hooked up last night. I'd almost given up on that ever happening. Too bad it wasn't exactly memorable. I need Troy to make up for it tonight. Still grinning, Amber gives me a playful nudge. Are you saying James couldn't keep up? I shrug. He was okay. Just kind of average where it matters. So, what's your plan now? Is James still in the picture, or was that a one-time deal? I pause, swirling my drink. Hard to say. I actually like spending time with him. He's smart, sweet, and has his life together. Plus, he's not hurting financially. If I were thinking long-term, he'd definitely be a contender. She rolls her eyes. Yeah, but if you married him, you'd have to live with those limitations. Who says I have to give anything up? I counter. I've been seeing James for a couple of weeks and still keeping things exciting elsewhere. Why fix what isn't broken? Amber grins slyly. You really love playing with fire, huh? But fine. If you're serious about balancing both, I'll share you with James for now. Later that evening, after I politely sent Troy on his way, I found my thoughts drifting back to James. What am I really doing with him? If marriage isn't on the table, then what's the point of pretending? Do I even want that kind of future? I'm closing in on 30. Am I honestly ready to go through life never letting anyone truly in? There's a part of me craving something real, something lasting, with someone who understands me. But then again, there's the excitement, the unpredictability, the freedom to do whatever and whoever I want. Could I really walk away from all that, just for James? Or maybe I don't have to choose. Maybe I really can have both, like I joked to Amber. Honestly, I could see myself marrying him. It's been 2 months since our first date, and every single one since has ended in bed. We just spent 72 hours straight together. Amber's been annoyed about it, says she's tired of going out solo all the time. But tonight, James is tied up with work and I finally get a proper girls' night again. When I spot Amber waiting outside the club, I notice she's not alone. A tall guy is standing beside her. Sorry I'm late, I call out. You look amazing. And who's your handsome new sidekick? I glance at the man next to her with interest. Hey, hottie, this is DeAndre, she says. DeAndre, meet my best friend, Jenna. I give them both a quick hello, and the three of us head inside together, chatting as we settle in with drinks. As we make small talk, I can't help wondering, is DeAndre just tonight's entertainment, or is Amber actually catching feelings? When he steps away to grab another round, I lean in closer. All right, spill. Is this guy just a fling or something more serious? Amber smirks. Since you've been off the radar lately, I figured I'd try going legit too. I've had enough lonely nights. He's sweet and ridiculously good in bed, so that helps. I raise an eyebrow. Are you saying you're officially off the market? I'm saying I'm experimenting. Seeing if I can spend more than one night with someone without going crazy, she says with a laugh. I nod. Honestly, good for you. And actually, I need to tell you something too. Don't tell me. You've finally given up on the hot but hopeless guys, she teases. I grin. You know me too well. That's what I figured. It's obvious you haven't really been enjoying your time with him lately, especially considering how rarely the two of you even see each other anymore. You're uneasy, right? Worried about what could happen? Afraid James might find out about the others? Yeah, I know I once said I wanted to juggle both sides, live both lives, but I'm finally starting to realize how unrealistic that is. Lately, I feel like I can't even come up for air. It's been non-stop, bouncing from one man to the next, like I'm stuck in some exhausting loop. I'm done with this. Something's got to change. I laid everything bare. Thank God for DeAndre. He's the only reason I'm not completely alone in this mess. But Jenna, if you're really going to try to make things work between James and me, then don't do it halfway. Go all in. Be the kind of woman he actually deserves. Who knows? Maybe being a wife will surprise you. Maybe it's more rewarding than you ever thought it could be. And just for the record, if you two do get married, I'm still holding you to that bridesmaid promise. Don't even think about bailing on that. And hey, I'll play nice. If there's a wedding, I swear, I'll be monogamous. No flings. So when does the celibacy phase officially begin? Is tonight your big send-off, or have you already shut it all down? Amber grins as DeAndre strolls back to our table. Nope, I reply, shop's closed. No more samples. We laugh together, and for a brief second, I genuinely enjoy the ease of it. Back home later, I catch myself reaching for my phone, tempted to text one of the few names still saved in my contacts for the wrong reasons. But no, Amber's right. If I'm going to take this seriously, I need to be serious about it. And strangely enough, I feel a sort of calm setting in, a quiet I haven't known since childhood. For once, I'm not chasing after something, not a new man, not another achievement. I'm just still and content, really content. But then it hits me. Oh God, Martin. What the hell am I supposed to do about Martin? We had an agreement. If I stop sleeping with him, things could get ugly fast. Maybe it won't cost me everything, but realistically, it probably will. He's not one to gamble. If I break our deal, he'll make sure I pay the price. Maybe I can reason with him. Explain that I'm committed to James now. And James? James is literally the reason we still have that partnership. Maybe that'll buy me some grace. I've sacrificed too much to just walk away now. The next day, I managed to get a private meeting with Martin under the pretense of reviewing project updates. But really, I needed to bring up what's been going on between us and the fact that it can't continue. I was hoping he'd show some level of understanding. He didn't. He didn't even pretend. Told me straight out he doesn't care who I'm dating. We had a deal, and if I break it, he's done with me. No more promotions, no protection, no perks. If I stay, the environment will become unbearable. And then he let something slip. He knows about DJ, that we've been sleeping together too. But here's the difference. DJ's safe, because people already know about it. Me, if I make noise, if I try to push back, James will find out everything. About Martin, about DJ, about the whole damn web of it. So, yeah, I gave in. I told him I'd keep up the charade, at least for now. Just to keep the waters calm. The way he looked at me when I agreed, smug, like he'd won, it made my skin crawl. How did I let it get to this point? Is this job really worth it? Enduring this filth, this power play? Okay, so having to keep Martin in the loop sucks, but I thought I could manage it. That is, until James casually mentions next week's work. He's collaborating with a new company, and guess who's heading up a division there? Daniel DJ Jennings, my ex-boss, my ex-lover. Martin won't talk. He's got too much at stake. But DJ? He's got nothing to lose, and every reason to spill. A chance to retaliate? He won't pass that up. Before, I wouldn't have cared what DJ might say. But now I have James. And the thought of losing him terrifies me. No, it haunts me. I'm scared James will learn the truth and never look at me the same way again. Just the idea of that makes my stomach twist. I've always had the upper hand. Men gave me what I wanted, easily, blindly, just because of how I looked. I could use them, toss them aside, and move on. But James is different. He has a grip on me I never meant to give. He didn't ask for power. He just took it, quietly, without force, without games. He didn't offer me what I thought I wanted. He gave me what I didn't even know I needed. Like a parent offering comfort a child didn't know they missed. In a matter of months, I've grown more dependent on him than I've ever been on anyone. And now, I'm terrified I can't be that same anchor for him. When did I become the kind of woman who cares more about someone else's heart than guarding her own? One thing is certain. I have to stay ahead of DJ before he gets the chance to say anything to James once he pieces together that James and I are together. Friday evening brings us back to a familiar, elegant spot tucked away in Beverly Hills. At this point, being with James feels so natural, it's hard to remember what life looked like before he was in it. "So, how's work been lately? No disasters or surprises, I hope?" I ask, browsing the menu as we settle in. James shakes his head. "Pretty uneventful, actually. I spent most of the day with DJ, your former boss." A flicker of panic jolts through me. "He gave me this strange look when I brought up that we're dating," James goes on. "Didn't say anything outright, but I could tell he was holding something back. Is there history there I should be aware of?" I take a slow breath. "I've been meaning to tell you about DJ for a while. It's just a complicated subject." James sets his menu down and looks like he's about to press for answers, but the waiter arrives just in time to interrupt. We place our orders, and as soon as the waiter walks away, James raises a brow, waiting for me to continue. "I was involved with him," I begin cautiously. "It wasn't serious, but we were intimate. A few times." James's stare hardens and the shift in his expression sends a chill down my spine. "You had a thing with your boss?" he asks, clearly stunned. I nod. "Yes, but it wasn't as straightforward as it sounds. At the time, he made it seem like he was investing in my career, offering mentorship. I didn't see it for what it really was until later. He took advantage of the situation." James leans in slightly. "What ended it?" I told him I didn't want to continue. That's when everything turned sour. He'd already helped me get promoted, and suddenly it all felt tainted, like it was a trade. I got ahead because I slept with him. He listens, saying nothing, but I can tell he's processing every word. When I refused to be involved anymore, he threatened to let me go. I felt cornered, so I filed a complaint. HR stepped in, and he was ultimately fired. "Jesus," James mutters. "And you never brought any of this up before? Not even when I mentioned I'd be working with him again?" "I wasn't hiding it from you," I say quickly. It's not exactly easy to bring up, and it's something I'd rather forget. I'm not proud of any of it. Not being with him, not the fallout. I wish I'd never had to deal with any of it. But now that you're in contact with him, I realize I should have told you sooner. I'm sorry. I truly am." James exhales and gives a small nod. "Well, at least now I know. I'm sure he's not thrilled seeing you with me, especially after how things ended. But this isn't on you. He crossed a line. He abused his power. That's on him." "Thank you," I say quietly. "I just want to put it behind us. Pretend he's not part of our lives." He nods again, and just then our food arrives. The tension begins to melt away, and conversation shifts toward easier topics. I start thinking about dessert, not the kind on the menu, but the one we'll indulge in once we're back home. As we finish our meal, James turns to me with a thoughtful look. "Jenna, there's something I've been meaning to ask." I smirk. "Is this question going to involve handcuffs?" He laughs. "Only if that's your request." "No, seriously. I've got some meetings in New York next Friday, and I was wondering if you'd like to come. We could make a weekend out of it." My face lights up. "That sounds incredible. Just a quick trip?" "We'd head out Thursday," he says. "But I was hoping we could stay through Tuesday, if your schedule allows." "I'll check in with Martin, but I think I can make it work. I haven't had a proper break in ages," I say. "And believe it or not, I've never been to New York. I'd love to experience it with you." "I guess we'll find out," I reply with a shrug, uncertainty lacing my voice. "But odds are, we won't venture past the hotel walls." James chuckles, a slow grin lighting up his face. "No guarantees," he says, amusement dancing in his eyes. "Oh, really?" I tease, brushing my leg lightly against his under the table. Now I'm really counting the days till New York. He pays the bill effortlessly, And before long, we're headed back to my apartment, the city lights flickering past us. With each new moment, James fills spaces in me I didn't even know were empty. I never imagined someone could change me so much, yet here I am, transformed since the day we started seeing each other. We're staying at an upscale hotel nestled in Midtown Manhattan. Between the soft sheets and the buzz of the streets, we make time to both unwind and explore. Sunday mornings become rituals, steaming coffee, cozy cafes, and James beside me. And without realizing it, I'm always smiling when he's near. But there's been something lingering in my mind, especially in the last few days. It's becoming clearer now, undeniable. I want James to propose. It's not just wishful thinking anymore. It's real, intense, almost aching. What's got you so quiet? James's voice pulls me back from my spiraling thoughts. Sorry, I say, blinking as I return to the moment. I zoned out for a second. Yeah? What were you thinking? I pause. Just how surreal this all feels. Being here with you, turning 30 soon, regretting how long I waited to let real happiness in, and how I don't even know what life looks like without you anymore. James's eyes soften. I get that, he says quietly. After I lost my wife and little girl, I thought I'd never feel joy again. Then you came into my life, and everything changed. You brought me back to the world. My throat tightens, and I give him a quiet nod. I want this man to be my husband more than I've ever wanted anything. Maybe he just needs a little nudge. What if we made this a tradition? I suggest, gently steering the moment. New York, once a year, just the two of us. He considers it. That sounds perfect, like our own personal anniversary. Exactly, I say, beaming. Something to remember this weekend by. A little celebration we could return to year after year. Without speaking, James reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a small velvet box. My breath catches in my throat. He's one step ahead of me, as always. My eyes widen as he lowers himself on one knee and flips open the lid, revealing a brilliant diamond. Jenna Jameson, he says, holding my gaze steady. Will you marry me? I gasp, completely stunned. Yes. Oh my God, yes, James, I will. We fall into each other's arms, kissing, holding, not letting go. He always seems to know what I need, sometimes even before I do. He must have planned this whole weekend around this moment. How did I get this lucky? Then again, maybe this isn't luck. Maybe it's something deeper, truer. Maybe this is what love is supposed to feel like. The days that follow blur together. I stay faithful to James, well, aside from Martin, and truthfully, I miss the chaos sometimes. The reckless nights with Amber, the thrill of not knowing where the evening would end. After years of living that way, it's hard not to crave it. Being with James is like hitting pause on that entire chapter of my life. And I know myself, I'll eventually want that rush again, once the shine of all this begins to fade. James asked me to move in recently. I said yes, of course. His place is stunning, but I told him I'd need a few weeks to pack up. In reality, I need the time to think, to ask myself whether I can actually walk away from everything I used to be. From everyone I used to be with. Maybe one final taste of it all wouldn't hurt. Maybe Amber and I need one more wild night before I close that door forever. James is away, business in Vancouver, which makes this my best chance to figure things out. When I suggested a night out, Amber didn't hesitate. She's still technically dating DeAndre, but that's never stopped her from indulging her whims. She even mentioned having a surprise in store, said it was her engagement gift to me. As we pull up outside the club, anticipation pulses through me, electric and familiar. You look incredible, I say, sipping my vodka martini. So, what's this mystery gift you've been hyping up? Amber grins wickedly, her eyes glinting. Let's just say it's my belated gift to you. 2 months late, sure, but trust me. Once you see it, you'll agree it was worth the wait. No DeAndre tonight? He asked, eyebrows raised. I smiled and told him this evening was just for the two of us, something a bit out of the ordinary. I really do care about DeAndre, but a little variety, it keeps things exciting. So DeAndre isn't enough for you? He's great, I admitted, but he's not everything. And truthfully, if James gave me absolutely everything I needed, would I be here right now? Tonight's going to be wild. Just watch. Amber laughed softly. Maybe she had a point. If James were truly all I desired, wouldn't I feel completely fulfilled by him? But I do love him, deeply. I can't imagine my life without him. Still, that doesn't explain why I'm here. Why does this night make my heart race? Right on cue, as though scripted, 4 men walked over and took seats around us. One by one, they kissed Amber's cheek, then turned to introduce themselves to me. "Jenna, meet your engagement gifts," Amber said with a wicked grin. "They're not just here for fun tonight. They're here to make sure it's unforgettable." "I'm thrilled for you and James," she added, raising her glass. "Let's make a night of it." We danced with each man in turn, laughing harder with every drink that followed. Soon, we all agreed the real party needed a more private setting. Since my place was more spacious than Amber's, we headed there. I probably don't need to explain what happened once the door closed behind us. With only a few weeks before I move in with James, I tell myself it's fine to keep things casual with other men. I frame it as stress relief, a final burst of freedom before commitment. Once James and I are living together, this part of my life will end, or so I keep saying. To be honest, 3 of the men I've recently slept with are still on my mental roster of possibilities. After I settled in with James, things gradually began to smooth out. For a while, the idea of cheating didn't even cross my mind. But that changed the next time I had an evening alone with Amber. That night, we met 2 ridiculously attractive guys at a club and took them back to her apartment. In that moment, it hit me. I wasn't ready to let go of this part of my life. I adored James. I really did. But I still hungered for what these other encounters gave me. Around the same time, I started bringing up James's firm more often, asking about his workflow, curious about how he manages his clients. He's always said he'd love for me to join his team, but he's hesitant because of Martin, their mutual business partner. I'll convince him eventually, but I'll wait until after we're married. The wedding is only 2 months away. Before that, though, there's my 30th birthday, a milestone I'm dreading more than I'd like to admit. If I could freeze time in my 20s, vibrant, glowing, I would. Still, marrying someone as charming and successful as James definitely softens the blow. Amber's hinted at planning something special for my birthday. Strictly girls only, James isn't invited. We'll be having our own little private affair. Next chapter. We arrive at a glamorous charity gala in Los Angeles, James looking absolutely stunning by my side. It's a high-profile event sponsored by his firm, and we're dressed to turn heads. People notice us the moment we enter. We look like the kind of couple others envy. We spend the early part of the evening socializing, dancing, soaking in the admiration. Eventually, another CEO pulls James aside for a business chat, and I'm left surrounded by a circle of refined-looking women. I don't recognize any of them. They're clearly the classic trophy wives, gorgeous and impeccably styled, but lacking any real depth. None of them appear to have earned their place through talent or ambition. After a while, I scan the room, hoping to spot James, but he's vanished into some networking corner. Tired of the shallow conversation, I decide I'd rather explore the city than endure another moment with these women. As I step away, I almost walk right into someone tall. He turns and I freeze. It's Jackson. I know that smirk anywhere. "Well, would you look at that?" he says. Jenna finally mastered elegance, clothed no less. "Jackson," I say, stunned. "It's been forever. What brings you here?" He flashes a grin. "Could ask you the same thing. Out looking for another rich guy to entertain you? Or are you hoping we reignite that old flame?" I roll my eyes. "Neither. I'm here with my fiancé. He's just off in business talk land somewhere." "Oh, really? That's odd. I don't recall ever promising to be your fiancé." He clearly has no clue what you actually get up to in your downtime. "Exactly. And I'd prefer to keep it that way." "Relax, your secrets are safe with me. I just thought maybe we could catch up a bit like the old days." "I heard you've been spending quality time with not one, but 2 of my exes. Starting to feel a little left out over here." Jackson gives a sly grin. "Well, we can correct that oversight, just not tonight." "Fair enough," she says smoothly. "I'm holding you to that. Don't keep me waiting too long. You have my promise. Talk to Amber. She'll fit you into the schedule, he says with a wink. We exchange a final glance before blending back into the crowd. I navigate through the glittering ballroom until I'm intercepted by one of the glamorous trophy wives I'd spoken with earlier. She smiles dazzlingly, grabs my hand, and pulls me aside. What's she playing at? Still beaming, she leans in close. Let me make this crystal clear. Jackson is off limits. Unless, of course, you're eager for your precious James Blake to hear everything about your extracurricular activities. Every single guy, including Jackson. Her voice is sugar-sweet, but her words bite like ice. I keep my expression smooth, my smile just right. Sorry, who do you think you are exactly? I'm someone who knows a lot about you, Jenna Jameson. No need for a scene, just steer clear of Jackson. He's taken. Go chase someone else. You and Jackson? I ask, honestly surprised. I figured you were one of those pristine wives waiting for your husband to reappear. If that's the case, then by all means, he's yours. I'm not trying to stir anything up tonight, not with James in the room. Don't insult me, she snaps. Her face is familiar, but I still can't place her. Who are you? How do you know about me and Jackson? Did he tell you? Not right away. But I saw you sneak out of that club with him and his crew. I got the rest from him eventually. Wait, you saw me and Amber? You saw us leave with those guys? So you're one of those married women who sneak off to clubs? Still, how do you know our names? I already knew. We've met before, not that you'd remember, but you definitely remember my husband. You're the reason he lost his job. Then it hits me. You're Tina Jennings, DJ's wife? Bingo. You wrecked his career and dragged our lives through the mud. Don't think I'll just stand by and let you mess up what I've got going with Jackson. Trust me, Jackson's all yours for tonight. I remember how underwhelming DJ was in bed. That must be rough. I keep my smile civil, aware of the curious eyes around us. Don't you dare bring my husband into this, Tina growls, her facade cracking. Not after what you did to him, you shameless, scheming little tramp. We're done here. Go slink back to your pathetic husband and be glad I'm not snatching Jackson away from you too, I say sharply, turning my back on her. I walk away, seething that I have to deal with this ridiculous soap opera. And of course, because the universe has a twisted sense of humor, I spot James chatting with none other than DJ. Perfect, just what I needed. And then it gets worse. Tina strolls over to them, inserts herself next to her husband, and now the three of them are talking like old pals. There's no way I'm going anywhere near that disaster in the making. I step out onto the balcony, desperate for some air and distance. The night breeze is cool, a small comfort as I try to calm my nerves. Hopefully, Tina has the sense not to implode her own marriage out of spite. So far, DJ hasn't said anything to James. Or, if he has, James is hiding it well. I doubt DJ would blurt out our little history in front of his wife anyway. Maybe this night isn't a total train wreck after all. I linger outside for about 10 minutes, hoping they've all gone their separate ways, when someone speaks behind me. There you are again. I swear every time I see you, I forget how to breathe. I turn my head slightly. It's Jackson. Standing next to me, both of us staring out at the moonlit gardens. Jackson. So, you're here with Tina Jennings? Or is she just giving you a ride home tonight? Oh, Tina? He laughs. Her husband invited me. Fancy little gathering, huh? Wait, DJ invited you? I blink. So, he knows about you and Tina? Of course, Jackson says, unfazed. A chill runs through me. So both of them are aware of you and me, and now they're talking with James. I start to move away, panic creeping in. Jackson gently grabs my hand, stopping me. Jenna, what's going on? They hate me, Jackson, both of them. Her husband lost his job because of me, and now she's convinced I'm after you too. If either of them says a word to James, I'm finished. But would they? Would they really say something? They seem like decent people, respectable. And up until now, they've always treated me well. Even so, Jackson, I need your help. Could you casually go over and chat with them? Just listen in. Try to catch what they're talking about. I need to know they aren't discussing me, or us, or James. Please, would you do this for me? By that point, I was almost begging. Jackson gave a slow nod. Sure, I can do that. But if they are talking about you... Then what? I couldn't give him an answer. He added, "All right, give me a couple of minutes, then come in after me. If I see you, I'll give you a sign. Nod if everything's okay, shake my head if it's not. Or maybe I'll just text you. Yes, if they're talking about you. No, if they aren't. Sound all right?" Yes, perfect. At least I'd have a moment to brace myself, figure out the right thing to say, before facing anyone. Jackson turned and went back inside. I stayed on the patio, clutching my glass, trying not to unravel completely. My hands were shaking. James couldn't find out, not like this. I had never felt this afraid before. Dread curled itself around me like smoke, choking every rational thought. I took a sip of wine, praying the alcohol might calm me down, give me even a flicker of composure. But I was fooling myself. I was coming apart. A few minutes passed. Then I couldn't wait any longer. I turned and stepped through the doorway into the brightly lit ballroom. My eyes swept the room, scanning for familiar faces. James had been here earlier, talking to Tina and the DJ. Jackson should have joined them by now. If he'd seen me, maybe he would have signaled. But there was no one there. James, gone. Tina, gone. Daniel, nowhere in sight. No sign of Jackson either. Panic landed hard in my chest, a blunt force that knocked the air from my lungs. Where did they go? I forced myself to stay composed, inhaling slowly, deeply. I began walking, weaving between clusters of guests, eyes searching the crowd. Still no sign of James. After circling the main hall, I veered off into the smaller rooms, cozier lounges where people had drifted to talk or get away from the noise. I passed murmured conversations, the soft chime of glasses, the distant music. But none of them were there. Only one possibility remained, the front entrance. Outside, a few guests stood in quiet groups beneath warm lighting, chatting, some smoking. But again, no James, no Tina, no Danielle, no Jackson. My heart began to race, a cold knot forming in my stomach. I pulled out my phone and typed quickly, "Where are you?" "I've been looking everywhere." Minutes stretched on before my screen lit up. I went home. Don't come after me. I can't do this right now. Maybe not ever. The bottom dropped out of my world. They told him. They must have told him. The air was sucked from my lungs. It felt like the ground had vanished beneath me, like the entire night sky was collapsing. James knows. Oh God, he knows. What do I do now? What can I do? I sank to my knees on the cold stone steps, phone still in my hand, eyes locked on the message. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. But it was. My body started to shake. I was completely numb. Someone nearby was speaking, calling out, but their voice sounded muffled and far away. A man knelt next to me, gently took my hand, said something I couldn't quite hear. Everything was dim, distorted, like I was submerged underwater. And then darkness. When I finally came to, I was seated indoors, slumped in a chair. A soft voice spoke from beside me. "There you are. You're all right now, sweetheart," the woman said gently. "Just breathe. You're safe here." What happened?" I managed, the fog still thick in my mind. "Shh. Don't worry. We found you outside and brought you in," she said kindly. "You're going to be okay. Just stay still a little longer, all right? Take some deep breaths for me." I followed her instructions. The air helped, a little. But then memory snapped back like a rubber band. James. I had to find James. I try to stand, but my legs falter beneath me. The woman at my side reaches out, gently steadying me with a supportive touch. "Don't push yourself," she advises, her tone even but resolute. "We can't afford another close call." "Another close call? I'm all right," I reply, trying to downplay the situation. "I just need to get home." She remains still, unmoved by my protest. "John, have Charles bring the car around," she says to the man near the doorway. "I can just get an Uber," I say quickly, desperate to reclaim some control. "That's not happening," she replies firmly. "You're Jenna, right? James's fiancée? I'm Catherine. I have an event to attend tonight, but Charles, my driver, will take you. I'm not sending you off with a stranger while you're like this. Just give him your address. He'll take care of the rest." "Okay," I murmur, "and thank you for everything." The man, Charles, nods and guides me gently outside. In the car, my mind spins. How am I supposed to explain this to James? I could lie, pretend none of it was real, but I don't even know what story he's been told. My stomach churns. Just the thought of facing him makes me feel sick. When we arrive, I'm trembling again. I thank Charles and step out, digging through my purse for my keys with shaky fingers. I enter the hallway, then move into the living room. My chest feels tight, my breath shallow. What am I going to say to him? He's not there. I walk to the bedroom. It's empty. I sit on the edge of the bed. The tears come fast, silent at first, then uncontrollable. I wipe my face, stand again, and walk toward the balcony. That's where he always goes when he needs to think. And I've certainly given him a lot to think about. Sure enough, he's there. He sits still, his face buried in his hands. When he looks up and sees me, his gaze hardens. I told you I wasn't ready to talk, he says, his voice cold. I know, I whisper. I walk slowly to the bench and sit at the far end. The distance between us feels enormous, physically and emotionally. What did they tell you? I ask, my voice barely audible. Enough, he replies. That single word slices through me. I look down, searching for any words that might soften his pain. Why? He asks quietly. Can you tell me what they said first? I ask carefully. Oh, I get it, he snaps. So you can decide what to deny, what truths to conveniently forget. The tears well up again, harder now. I press my hands to my face and sob, helpless. I don't know how to fix this, how to convince him that I still love him. I'm sorry, James, I managed to say through the tears. I'm so sorry. You've always been too good for me. I never deserved you. His reply stings like a slap. You're right. Lucky for me, I found out who you were before I said I do. I'll tell you everything, I plead. Whatever you want to know. I know I hurt you. I know you're angry. But I love you, James. I really do. Oh, really? He says with venom. You loved me while you were sleeping with someone else? With Jackson? God, Jackson. Were there more? Were there 4 of them? All at once? Who even are you? How did I fall for this? How did I ever think about a future with you? A family? Don't say that, I beg, my voice cracking. I'm not her anymore. You changed me. You're the first man I've ever truly loved. I love you, James Blake, I cry out. And I would do anything, anything to make you believe that. There's nothing left to do, he replies, his voice devoid of feeling. Silence falls. He's right. No apology can undo what's been done. I fight to steady my breathing, to pull myself back from the edge of collapse. You didn't answer me, he says finally. Why? Why did you do it? Was I not enough? Did I miss something? Have you been laughing at me this whole time? No, I whisper. Never. You are the kindest, most genuine person I've ever met. This wasn't your fault. It was mine. I'm the one who crossed the line, not you, I say, brushing away the tears trailing down my face. Why would you do something like this? Why Jenna of all people? Don't I deserve at least some kind of explanation? Because I couldn't help it. Because that's always been who I am. I've bounced from one affair to the next. I genuinely tried to leave that life behind, for you. I really did. But in the end, I gave in. The craving for something unfamiliar never went away. That's it? That's all you've got? James lets out a breath, bitter and sharp. So you're just labeling yourself a slut and moving forward like that's normal? Maybe I am, but I'm far from the only one. Plenty of women live like this now. We're not all just sitting around waiting for Prince Charming anymore. We've got our own lives, careers, ambitions, and sometimes, yeah, casual hookups. That's the reality, and I'm honestly done feeling guilty about it. Maybe it's time I finally give James the full truth, for once in my life. So let me get this straight, he says. Wanting someone honest, someone who doesn't disappear every weekend to drink and screw around, that's unreasonable now? Maybe it is. Women lie to you, James. We wear masks to keep guys like you in our lives. You think someone like Tina Jennings is different? Like she's this perfect, wholesome girl you should lock down? Don't drag Tina and Daniel into this, he snaps. You're not exactly coming out of this looking great. Oh, I'm not? I shoot back, voice rising. Tina's been pissed at me all day because she's convinced I'm trying to steal Jackson. The funny part? She and her married girlfriends hit the same clubs Amber and I go to. They flirt with the same men, play the same games. I can hear the edge in my voice now. It's cutting through everything. So what, I should be grateful that you at least didn't make me watch it all unfold? James's voice is soaked in sarcasm. How big of you, Jenna? I'm just telling you the truth, I say quietly. I know this probably means you'll never want to see me again after tonight. So why keep pretending? Why not drop the performance? Ask me anything, I'll answer honestly. I've got nothing left to protect. He doesn't miss a beat. How long? How long after we started dating did you sleep with someone else? I look down. I never really stopped. That first night you dropped me off after our date, you kissed me on the cheek and left. I felt this emptiness, like something was missing. So I texted a guy who lived nearby. We were in bed together before you even made it home. James leans back, his head moving slowly side to side. But earlier you said you tried for me. When was that? How long did it last? Maybe 2 months in. It lasted until you asked me to move in. That's when it hit me. This was serious. A real home, a possible future, marriage. It scared me so badly I felt like I had to destroy it before it consumed me. You're afraid of commitment, Jenna. You do get that, right? James's voice is soft, but firm. Yeah, I know. Trying to walk away from something that had become my second skin. It was torture. For years, I thrived on new faces, getting dressed up, being wanted. It was this constant rush, first dates, fleeting connections. But I never let anyone get close, not really. No one ever reached me on a deeper level except you. You were the first one I truly loved. And even then, it still wasn't enough. James's head shakes again, slower this time. So what is it that keeps pulling you back to them? The excitement, the attention, the compliments? All of it, I admit. You're having a rough day, you go out, and suddenly 3 guys are telling you how gorgeous you are. It's intoxicating, like a high. And it's one I haven't been able to give up. You're always the one who turns every head when you walk into a room. People have told you for as long as you can remember that the world is yours for the taking. No limits, no waiting. Eventually, it starts to feel true. And worse, it becomes something you need. So let me get this straight. You're a thrill-chasing narcissist, terrified of commitment? What's next? Should I be worried you're going to admit to setting fires for fun? I meet James's words with a look that dares him to say more. If we're airing everything out, James, is there anything else you want to throw at me? This isn't something I plan on repeating. Did you ever actually love me? He asks. Or did you just see me as the practical choice once you hit 30 and ran out of better options? I meant every moment we had together, James. Every damn one. More than I believed I could feel. More than I thought I deserved. I know it probably sounds hollow now, but I swear I'm not just saying it to ease the blow. You were the only one I ever truly gave my heart to. And no matter what happens now, that won't change. Then help me understand, he says, his voice strained. Why did you throw all of it away? For what? So a stranger could flatter your ego? So you could feel wanted for a few nights? I just don't get it. You keep saying it wasn't something you could stop, that it just happened. But Jesus, Jenna, I was ready to spend my life with you, and all you wanted was to keep entertaining attention from anyone who looked your way. You're impossible to figure out. I know, I murmur. And if I could rewind time, I would. I wish I never felt drawn to any of that. But it's too late. I did what I did, and now I have to carry it. He falls silent for a moment, then says quietly, Tell me one thing. Were you going to keep seeing other guys after we were married? I don't know, I admit. Maybe. I think I probably would have. Amber's throwing me a surprise party next week. I wasn't going to mention it. There's something in me that feels broken. Yeah, he replies with a chilling calm. But that won't stop you from showing up, will it? Not even after this mess? I guess I'll still go, I say. Amber will tell me it's what I need, to get out, to stop dwelling. It's ironic, really, that same kind of fun is what ruined everything. There's a big difference now, Jenna. And what's that? I ask, already knowing the answer. You're 30. Now you get to be like Tina, bitter, watching some younger girl take the man you couldn't hold on to. Even Tina managed to get a ring. She has someone to come home to. You? You'll be going back to your empty apartment. I hope it's everything you thought you wanted. I turned my head, refusing to let him see that his words struck something deep. I couldn't let him know he might be right. That's it then, James says. Call Amber, have her come get you. Pack your things. You're not staying tonight. In fact, I hope this is the last time we speak outside of work. I stood, took one last look at him, then walked inside to text Amber. And just like that, I exited James's life for good. Next chapter. My 30th birthday arrived, and yes, the party went ahead as planned. Of course there were guys there, when aren't there? But even surrounded by laughter and music, I felt a hollow sort of ache. I danced, I laughed, I smiled for the photos, but every moment felt rehearsed, like a scene I'd played out one too many times. Only now something had shifted. The truth had begun to surface. We were sold a lie, and worse, I had been selling it to myself for 10 years. From our school books to rom-coms to every curated Instagram post, they all repeated the same sermon. Be self-sufficient. Chase your dreams. You don't need a man. Kids are optional. You can have everything. But now I'm asking myself, where is this everything they promised? Does devoting the best years of my life to a job that sees pregnancy as a liability and marriage as a distraction really count as success? Is waking up alone at 30, no one to hold, no voices in the house, supposed to feel like freedom? Is this really it? Am I just another woman clinging to youth like a safety net? Pretending I've still got time, pretending I'm fulfilled, while quietly drowning in solitude? Is this what it feels like to possess feminine strength? Is this really the essence of being crowned a girl boss? Maybe I should give in and adopt a few cats, lean fully into the joke my life's become. Still, when I step into nightclubs and cross paths with those sleek, soulless men, they shower me with compliments, call me stunning, intelligent, extraordinary. They'll say whatever they think I want to hear, just to get what they came for. There was a time when I looked down on women who longed for early marriages and a quiet home life. I used to think they were small-minded, even pathetic. I saw myself as above that kind of simplicity, meant for bigger, brighter things. But the truth is, I never actually made it there. Not in the way I imagined. Now more than anything, I wish I could love James, and have that love returned, wholly and completely. To share a future with him, create a home, raise children together, and grow old side by side, gently and quietly. But I know, no matter how much I long for it, that future will never come. The way I miss him, it's a kind of hurt I never knew existed. I wasn't prepared for how hard it would be to live in a world without him. Just one genuinely good man was all it took to shatter everything I believed, to show me how wrong I'd been all along. I would leave every other man behind in a heartbeat, if it meant having James back in my life. But he's not coming back. And honestly, why would he? This is all my fault. So much for having it all, right? If this gnawing emptiness, this hollow solitude, is the cost of it, then I want nothing to do with it. I'm done. No more glittering distractions.